Recognize the gentleman from Indiana, Representative Shreve, for your questioning.
Thank you, and I thank our subcommittee chairs and ranking members for convening this hearing. This is a subject that matters to all of us in representative government because we have victims of this fast-growing crime in all of our districts. But this is of particular importance to some of us that have large communities of Burmese citizens in our home states and districts. I represent a district in Indiana. Indiana is the home to 42,000 Burmese. We've got about a quarter of the population in the U.S. in our state. And of course, I have victims across my district as well. And this is a crime wave with victims on both ends. We recognize that. We've got victims of scams, and then we have human trafficking victims on the other end of this very sad proposition. And as you noted, this is at its core rooted in money laundering. And so we've got the victims of the drug trade. Mr. Ross noted that annual revenues approach $10 billion. But I think we recognize that this crime wave is so underreported, so difficult to track. Our office thinks that it may be a $15 billion a year problem today and sure to be much larger next year and the following year. And we've got so much work to do to get our arms around this problem. These scam centers represent a national security threat and a humanitarian crisis. Ambassador Curry and Mr. Ross, given our need to better understand what occurs inside these closed-off scam compounds, and considering that there's no formal process for collecting information from freed victims when they gain their freedom, if they gain their freedom, should a structured process be established to gather and analyze their accounts so we can learn from this?
I think that's a wonderful idea, Representative Shreve. I think that one of the things that Thailand especially can do, because most of these people end up in Thailand when they are rescued or flee these scam centers, and Thailand should think about how they can allow, whether it's the UN Office of Drug and Crimes or some other, or the UN Office of the International Organization for Migration, to set up a special office in Mesot and special offices in the Mesai area where most of these people come across the border, to collect information. Right now it is very ad hoc. I worked on a report for the UN on this a few years ago when it was not as well known of a problem in 2021. And even then they were struggling to get their arms around it. Now it's a much bigger problem, much more serious. And you do need an interagency approach here in the United States as well as at the international level. Thailand is really struggling to deal with it also because of corruption in the Thai domestic security forces and some of the other, and the reliance on the Thai banking system that these scam centers use and to launder the money as well. So those are things that we really need to work with Thailand on. Thank you.
I would echo Ambassador Curry that I think Thailand is really key, both as a conduit for people being trafficked into Myanmar and for people fleeing from the scam centers or being allowed to leave from them. At present, as I understand it, when people leave from scam centers into Thailand, it is the responsibility of their country to repatriate them to that country. So you have a very ad hoc process of people from dozens of countries, some of whom don't have diplomatic presence in Thailand, trying to figure out how to get their citizens back. In the case of China, the Chinese nationals who are fleeing from the scam centers or leaving the scam centers and going back to China are being taken back on Chinese flights without any investigative process. So it's a black box for the US and for everyone outside of China as to the information that those individuals have. Another key aspect of this is safe houses for those who are leaving or trying to leave from scam centers. And that in and of itself could be a useful information and intelligence gathering source.
If I can add on that point, right now, ethnic armed groups from Burma, some of the Karen National Union in particular, are providing safe houses for scam trafficking victims themselves, and doing this because these people end up in their territory, and then they help them get repatriated. It is a kind of crazy situation.
I thank you both. My time has expired.